Hey everyone, I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. Please let me know what you think about today's stories. The first story is called Bad Ex-Father-in-Law. About a year back, my ex-father-in-law took me to court for an incident that happened 5 years previously. While still married, I got into a door dinger with his Jeep. At the time, I offered to buy a new door and help install it. He is a self-proclaimed mechanic and had the know-how. But the project fell to the wayside. The door was never purchased and never brought up again. That is, until his daughter and I had a falling out and we divorced 5 years later. So I got served and taken to court for $2,000. It was a made-up number that he felt was adequate. During mediation, I offered him $1,500 and to never contact me again, at which he scoffed. So I told the mediator I'd like to go before the judge. I informed the judge of the original deal and found a matching door for $400 from a scrapyard. The judge took my side and granted my father-in-law $400 and not more. It was incredibly gratifying hearing him throw a fit in front of the judge to go ahead and file an appeal now, and have the judge tell him that wasn't his job. And walking out of the courtroom as he angrily yelled at me that he would be seeing me again. Still haven't heard back. The next story is called Not So Malicious Compliance with the Husband. So my husband works from home and has a very tidy office. I work in a lab and so can't usually work from home, and since our house is small, I never really set up a workspace for myself. And to be honest, I'm not the most organized person. So usually my belongings are found scattered all over the house. My husband once turned around the car when he realized that he forgot to make the bed, so my messiness is a challenge for him. Anyway, one day a few years ago while my husband was out, I had to sign something. I couldn't find a pen in my bag and so stole one from my husband's desk. A few hours later, the following conversation occurred. "Hey, did you take the blue pen off my desk?" "Oh yeah, sorry." I riffle through the stack of things on the kitchen table until I find it. "Here you go." My husband was slightly irritated. "I wish you wouldn't take my stuff, you're always losing things." Now I'm a little huffy because while it's true that I lose things from time to time, we are talking about a 1-pound Papermate, not a Mont Blanc. "Well, you're the only one with an office full of office supplies. I don't even have any place to keep my own stuff." "Well, why don't you just get a bunch of pens and put them all over the house with the rest of your stuff, then even you'll be able to find them." And then he stalked back off to his office. Okay, fine, I think. Let's do it your way. I hop on Amazon and oh, look, 10 pens for £5? Let's get 3 sets in each color. Plus a few pen holder cylinders and a pack of Sharpies for good measure. Because you can never have enough Sharpies. Add to cart and confirm. The next day my malicious package fortuitously arrived while my husband was out of the house. When he returned home, he was greeted by a lovely bouquet of pens in the entryway. He was soon to discover a similar bouquet in the kitchen, on the mantel, table at the top of the staircase, bedroom dresser, and bedroom cabinet. This is a small 2-bedroom house, so pens had suddenly become the primary design motive. His only comment was an exasperated "Really?" to which I just grinned in reply. He did move the one out of the bathroom, but the others stayed where they were, and actually were pretty handy. I have not needed to borrow any of his pens since, so I like to think we both won. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to press the like button, it really helps. And now, on to the next story. The third story is called Just the Way They Want It. So I was working for a small mom-and-pop health food store, full staff including owner, probably only 15. I was hired to do data entry type work. On the first day, I'm seated next to the only 2 other people doing this job. We take the online orders and re-enter all the data, from customer info to product purchases, into another program. I'm given a very small batch of papers to rekey into the other program. The other two people are typing slowly, I mean almost excruciatingly slowly. The manager is in another room, so he's not watching us work. Being eager to do a great job, I fly through my stack of papers in about 2 hours out of my 8-hour day. I proudly walk into the manager's room and ask for more data to key. He tells me that was my work for the entire day. He tells me I can leave for the day and that I would be getting paid for only the time I worked. Now I got it. Now I realized why the other two worked at the pace they did. I was never told to go home early after that, although it pained me to type so slowly and work so far below my potential. The next story is called That Is Not My Name. A decade ago I worked at a warehouse. A big warehouse that served the northern half of Alberta. Several dozen shipments a day, each one several pallets, average 5 feet high. To meet this demand, there were 20 to 30 guys in my position alone in just our section of the warehouse, and we worked with at least 100 other people. New hires got to enjoy a special interview every week for 3 months. In these, a supervisor would politely tell us that we weren't cutting the mustard and would not last through our probation if we didn't speed up significantly. It was great for morale. For 6 weeks, I would hear the same supervisor call out a mispronunciation of my name over the PA. Every time I would walk into the supervisor's office for my interview and correct him. Think major, pronounced major versus jury. The 6th time he did it, I was sick of correcting him. I walked into the office and calmly said, "My name is Major. I've told you this 6 times now. The next time you call for jury, I won't answer." "What's wrong with jury?" he asked, seriously. "It's someone else's name." The next week, when my turn came up again and his voice blares out his standard call over the PA, jury to the chipping office. "Looking for John jury to the chipping office." I went about my job. 5 minutes later, he calls again, and again I ignore him. 20 minutes pass, several more calls. Another supervisor comes out, searching for me. "John, Alan's been calling you for a while now. You need to get going." "No, he hasn't. He's been calling for John jury. I've told him that's not my name 6 times now. But if I see John jury, I tell him Alan's looking. Alan is looking for you, so let's go. You tell Alan if he wants to see me, all he needs to do is call my name." "And what is your name?" He knows. The supervisor walked away, and I just kept on working. Then I finally hear it. John Major to the chipping office. I worked there for years. And he never needed correcting again. The last story is called Bureaucrat Doesn't Know the Law. When I first graduated from college, I moved to a nearby state for a new job. I'm in the US. Because I'm a civic-minded person and because a presidential election was coming up, I wanted to register to vote in my new state. In those days, before the internet, you had to go to the city hall of the town or city in which you resided. There you had to fill out the paperwork at the office of the registrar of voters. I only needed my driver's license and/or social security card to do so. The election came and went, and I voted, so everything was fine, or so I thought. About 2 weeks after the national presidential election, I received a phone call. It was the registrar of voters from the city in which I lived. She had apparently finally gotten around to actually reading my voter registration and now had decided that she needed more information. She informed me that I was not eligible to vote as I had been born in another country. I explained to her that while I was indeed born in another country, I was born to 2 American parents and thus by birth was an American citizen. She paused, then told me I had to bring in my naturalization papers to show her. I explained to her that I have no naturalization papers, because I have never been naturalized. I'm an American citizen at birth. The registrar of voters is supposedly a person whose job is to know the rules about voter eligibility. She still insisted that I needed naturalization papers. I reminded her that children born to an American parent, only one is actually needed to be a citizen, are automatically American citizens. Moreover, while some countries of one's birth might provide dual citizenship, the country of my birth, Switzerland, does not. So we went back and forth for a while. She doubled down and kept insisting I needed naturalization papers while I tried to explain US citizenship laws. I also pointed out to her that if she believed voter fraud had occurred, it was too late anyway, as I had already voted. Finally, she said I had to bring in those papers or my birth certificate within 2 weeks or I'd be expunged from the voter rolls. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in. When an American baby is born abroad, his or her parents are supposed to report the birth at the nearest US embassy or consulate. This way, a consular report of birth abroad can be issued as an official record of the child's claim to US citizenship or nationality. I have one of those, it's written in English. But the Register of Voters didn't ask for my CRBA. She demanded my birth certificate. So that's what I brought in to her. The beautiful birth certificate is written entirely in French. I gave it to her, just as she had asked. As I did, I asked her if she knew French and, no surprise, she did not. And then I watched her try to read it. She studied that piece of paper for about 2 minutes. And knowing that I had complied with her ridiculous request, finally just stammered out an, okay, this is fine. There's no real outcome, but at least I enjoyed her reaction. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And if you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day and stay safe. Bye bye.